Today's episode of Always Ayelet is brought to you by Mt. Gox, mtgox.com, and usgoldcoins.com, 1-800-HOT-COIN, and Meze Grill, M-E-Z-E Grill.com. Always Ayelet is the foremost internationally acclaimed authority on developing true connections. Ayelet is the founder and CEO of Universal Connections, Inc., the world's premier relationship firm that is revolutionizing life through holism and truth. A highly sought life and relationship coach, professional matchmaker, astrologer, philosopher, and author, Ayelet is always Ayelet.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the premiere episode of Always Ayelet. I'd love to hear from you, and you can give me a jingle at my Ask Ayelet voicemail, 212-569-6969. Again, 212-569-6969. Or you can email me at ayelet@onlyonetv.com. That is Ayelet, A-Y-E-L-E-T, at onlyonetv.com. If you ask a question, I may answer it on an upcoming episode. And honoring me today with his presence is a very dear friend, Tym Moss. Thank you so much for joining me on my very first episode of Always Ayelet. It's a great honor to have you on my show.
Oh, Ayala, I am so excited for you.
Thank
and
you.
Congratulations, and the honor is mine,
Thank
being
you.
your first guest on your show.
Thank you, thank you. Oh, and I mustn't forget, audience, that this is Oscar. He's my co-host. He'll be joining us as well at his choice and will, his free will.
Oh, Oscar's wonderful.
So we're here today to talk about life, love, and relationships, and you've honored me with the opportunity to learn more about your life. We've talked a little bit off-set, and now we're on set live, and you...
Well, I am single and have been for much of my life.
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly. Why don't we take a minute and kind of talk about your show and what people can expect to see or experience with your show?
Well, what I do professionally, what I've done after years of extensive research and hands-on experience, working with people in life, love, and relationships as a professional matchmaker, astrologer, and life and relationship coach, I've formulated the proven method to developing true connections.
Wow.
And I'm here to, I guess, share it with the audience and with you. I offer one-on-one private consultations for my clientele. I've been renowned for matchmaking and very successful at that. But my service isn't, in my business, it isn't dating. It isn't just matching people.
Right.
I discovered in years of experience and research doing this for so many years and having lived this that there's something wrong, and my ideas, my philosophy, my unique approach transcends modern dating issues, transcends what is pervading our society today. And I'm here to shed light on the truth and shatter the myths and the shackles that imprison us and confine us to perpetually seeking instead of perpetually living a life of holism and what I refer to as a love-centered life. And that's what I'm here to help or to give.
Ayelet, that is wonderful.
Thank you.
That is fabulous.
Thank you.
That you have discovered this and you're sharing it with the world. I think that's fabulous.
Well,
that's
it's a lot of years of...
I can understand.
The knowledge or the insights are... I guess I can say they're sort of inherent, but the formulating of the paradigms that I've created and developed over years and years of experience are tried and true, and they're proven effective, and they're the only proven approach to developing true connections. And I'm honored and excited to be here with you.
Yes.
And hopefully we can make some progress for you tonight.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
With understanding your life a little bit, your background, your issues, because what I've learned doing this, we're each on a journey, and my journey has been a journey of lessons, which has enabled me to teach others, to guide others. and to encourage others, to help them find the strength they need and the courage they need to confront their truths and live a life of holism and living a love-centered life. We live, we're born into a material world of illusion.
Oh, definitely.
And oftentimes we lose sight of the real essence of our being, the reason we are here, the reason why we are who we are, and becoming who we are becoming. People think, oh, we just, when you're kids, we're always say, oh, when I grow up, I'm going to be a fireman.
Yeah.
That's not the way it is. And we're misled from such a young age. Oh, what do you want to be when you grow up? Well, I want to be Ayelet. I mean, if someone had told me that, it would have made my life, but I was always Ayelet. And so I had a natural inclination to being the individual that I am. And I guess I'm trying to help reinforce others with that innate strength I have, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, one thing, I was talking to someone the other day, kind of along a similar line, about how we were talking about, like, in the gay community, the suicides of the younger, the teenagers. And someone had mentioned that basically if they would have just trusted their own personal inner instincts, they would not have chosen to do that. Because so many people have a tendency to listen to the outside world and the outside world's fears, what people and their fears throw at them. You have a choice of whether you're going to absorb that fear or whether you're just going to accept it.
I love that example, and it breaks my heart when I hear that. I know there was a recent episode, a very newsworthy episode of a Rutgers student, a young Rutgers student. He was actually known by family and friends of mine, married to people, and it's heartbreaking. But aside from just that inner struggle of, I have if I may, the inner struggle of struggling with being, gay or homosexual, and being subjected to the imposition of other people's fears.
Right.
How about the classic example of, in today's recession, I really perceive our current economic crisis as a depression. I mean, I really believe this is a financial depression we're in at this time. But aside from that, how about the classic case where, the Wall Street stockbroker just lost his, $500 million 401k and whatever, and has no identification with anything else on this earth, that it's time to blow my brains out or jump off the 18th floor of a building. Yeah. So anytime, it's exactly the same thing. And I have to say that which I know, and without sounding arrogant, but that which I know, Timothy, has been substantiated through world experience that I've lived through. Yep. And why did these things happen to me, the personal things I've experienced in my life? They weren't to teach me lessons. Like people would say, oh, Ayelet, you're learning. No, I knew that. I never took that for granted. I never did that. Why? You know what it was? It was to test me. It was to try and test me and show me that I already get it. That when the worst thing that could potentially happen to you, and you're all alone, and it's just you, and you can survive that, let me tell you something. That is a testament. When all is taken from you materially, and all you have is your soul to fall back on, that is what having a conscience is about. That is what being alive is about. And knowing that in that wealth that we cannot measure, that wealth that has no substance, that wealth that has, it has substance, but no material matter, no material gravity, but is of utmost substance and of utmost wealth, is our souls, our spirits. And when you dishonor your soul, you dishonor your spirit by doing anything whatsoever to hurt or injure yourself or another. You're dishonoring our creator, our source, and all others on this planet. And I think we were talking off the record earlier about religion and God, and I think I said to you, I don't believe in religion because religion is created by man. But if we acknowledge that our being is in essence spiritual, And all of this material that we're born into, our bodies, our looks, our clothes, the cars, it's an illusion.
Yeah,
that's
I
not
agree.
real. That's
I
not
agree.
real. The only thing that's real is your soul, and as long as you're true to it, know who it is. Be true to it. That love that you are seeking will come to you.
Yeah.
That's basically the crux, and I have the paradigms and all
I
that.
love that. I love that. Well, just backing up to what you were saying about the Wall Street guy, that maybe losing everything.
Right. Because
and you mentioned identity, is because that is one of the problems in like our capitalist society, is we're taught that your identity is based upon how many material items or how much you have in the bank. And that has nothing to do with who we are as individuals.
Absolutely.
And our spirits.
Any institution created by mankind, any institution created by mankind as a form of identity, whatever it may be, detracts from the essence of what an individual is about.
Very true.
And if one identifies one's own individual purpose, life purpose, what their potential is, and is true to it, no matter what, you're at peace. Guess what? Addiction's gone out the window. Fear gone out the window. Health gone. Your health is going to be top of the lines.
Exactly.
You're going to eat well. You're going to sleep well. You're going to have a fulfilled life. And it all starts within. You know, we're constantly seeking without. Oh, and you flip through the back of New York Magazine. We used to advertise in the back of New York Magazine, the personal sections, the dating section from my company. And it was personals. And today, flip through the back of New York Magazine, and what are we watching? Lipo this, laser that. That's not the answer to your problems. Right. I'm not telling you don't take care of yourself. Don't look presentable. Don't be, well hygiened and fastidious and whatever godly qualities you may have. That they are important. They're an indication of caring for oneself and honoring oneself. How we dress, how we present ourselves, how we expose ourselves in certain situations. If you're at home and want to walk around naked, God bless you, and God is watching, but that's okay because He made you. But we want to honor ourselves. So we go to a church, I don't know, in the synagogue, it's customary I've been to churches before, and they wear shorts and sneakers. I was surprised by that. But it's customary in the Jewish faith to a synagogue and to welcome the Sabbath. We wear special clothing, special suits, fine clothing, because we're honoring. It's an indication of honoring. You're going to a gala. You're going to an award ceremony. You're going to wear a black tie. Because you're honoring yourself. You're honoring your hosts, and it's about honor, caring for yourself, tending yourself. It's not about the superficial. It's about being the best that you can be and identifying your optimal potential. And I think what people lose sight of is when they're trying, Timothy, so hard to be anything but what they are always destined to be. And sometimes the path is a little longer. Yeah. It's a little more tedious. The signs are on the wall. Have you read the book? I forget. Spencer, I believe, Who Moved My Cheese? No, I haven't. It's a brilliant book. I believe it's Dr. Spencer. I will have the correct citation for next week's show. But he wrote a brilliant book. It's a children's book. In fact, I would read it to my children because it's a great book that teaches the invaluable lesson of knowing to know the signs. It is my belief that it is our unconscious and subconscious inclination to know inherent truths that are etched in the spiritual DNA that makes our unique divine souls. We are born with this. And what happens is we're born into this world. We need to conform to materialism. And it's plagued with evils such as lies, manipulation, deceit, that are conspiring to achieve nothing. Right. Nothing. Only the illusion of happiness and fulfillment. Real happiness, real fulfillment comes only in truth. And that is what I'm here to help my clients to recognize and attain and achieve.
That is amazing. That
Thank
is
you.
wonderful.
Thank you.
And I understand exactly what you're saying.
Thank you.
It's again, as far as my identity, I was searching in all the wrong places, and for 20 years in drugs and alcohol and all kinds of chaos and misery. And but in a way, I'm grateful for that segment of my life, because that brought me to the understanding and the spiritual understanding that I have today, which again is the source, the happiness, the good, the prosperity, all of that is within me.
And if you said you were still single, right?
Yes.
Well, if you're whole, truly whole, and I use the word whole, WHOLE,
Right.
which is the core of the
Exactly.
concept of holism. Holism is when your rational mind and emotional mind are in sync with your body and soul, and manifests itself. Well, integrity, that's more going into integrity, is how it manifests. But holism is aligning your rational mind and your emotional mind with your body and soul.
Right.
And if you do so and you are whole, it hurts. It doesn't take away the pain of loneliness. And I understand that pain very well. As a professional matchmaker, that's the realm of my world. That's what I do. It's written. There's no greater travesty than loneliness. We're not born to be alone. We're not married. I know religions teach different things, and there are misguided conceptions of what life is supposed to be. We marry to procreate. No. We marry to find companionship.
Right, yeah.
We marry to find someone to validate who we are, to witness who we are, to share ourselves with, to teach us who we are, to challenge who we are. And if they are our true love, no matter what transpires, they will enhance who you are, who you are destined to be. Not detract, enhance. And if it's a mutual true love, which is what we all aspire to, we call that the shirt, it will be mutual.
Yeah,
Imagine
that's
finding
beautiful.
someone who enhances your life, who values you for who you are, for what makes you uniquely special as an individual soul.
That's what I'm looking for.
That fulfills you. And you meet this person, and guess what? You do the exact same thing for him.
Right.
That's like,
Exactly.
wow.
That's what I'm looking for.
And I'm sorry.
Oh, that's all right. That you had. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I just lost it. Something you were talking about before with the growth, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The consciousness. No. You were saying that's what you're looking for.
Well, it's.
Imagine meeting. I was saying, imagine meeting someone.
I've learned. Basically, it's all about learning to love myself.
Darling. That's the only thing it needs.
Right.
It's loving yourself.
That's the thing that I have had difficulty with most of my life.
Most of us do, my darling.
And
98% of relationships are destined to failure.
But I am on the right path.
Thank God.
I am definitely, and I see it, and I feel it.
And I know it, and I feel it too.
Because I went into rehab.
Okay.
And I started working on my mind, because my mind was so turned around in the opposite direction.
Okay.
I've worked and worked and worked on turning my mind around for a couple of years.
Okay.
That came along at about the same time then my spiritual God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, began to materialize in my life. And so I started working, like, for a good couple years seriously on my soul. So I've got the mind and the soul going.
Tell me
now I'm beginning to work on the body. So I'm trying to get the alignment.
The body is the physical part. That's the easiest part. But what's challenging in our world is that most people are just focusing on physical.
Right.
If the body's the last part, then God bless you, honey. You got 99% of it down pat. But tell me about your soul discovery. Tell me about that process for you.
Oh, wow. Again, my journey, I knew when I started off in the drugs, I was totally lost.
Tell me about your first episode. Your first ever time you took a drug. How old were you?
I don't even remember. I mean, it had to have been like 16, 17, something like that.
Where were you, a party?
I don't remember. I think maybe a friend of mine had come over and picked me up, and we went out driving around and smoked a joint, I think.
Okay.
I think that might have been the first time.
I always say, I'm always having this debate with very dear, my friends don't use drugs, but one or two people have experimented in the past or may occasionally defend it and say, oh, it's just marijuana, it's healthy for you. I'm like, you know what? I don't even take Tylenol. I mean, now Tylenol is bad for you anyway, but aspirin. Yeah. Unless there's something severely physically wrong with me, I don't take anything because everything, this is another spiritual lesson. There's a spiritual lesson in this. Anything and everything you truly need, not want, need.
Right.
You already have.
I agree with you, sister.
You already have. So we don't need drugs. Oh, I want to feel good. I want to get the buzz off. I mean, I don't want you to think of me as some kind of prude. I mean, I'll have a margarita if I'm having dinner. I might have two. I might even have a bottle of wine one night with a friend. But my point is, that's not the objective. The objective isn't having a bottle of wine.
Right.
The objective is enjoying a cocktail or enjoying a meal or enjoying a good bottle of wine with a special friend in the company of someone special. Seeking to be in an altered state because we can't accept reality.
Yeah,
I tell this to each of my clients in my first sessions, my first one-on-one with them. The human, and when I talk about astrology, I'm one of my talents is as a professional astrologer, which we can talk about if we have enough time today. Now, I'd love to have you back on another show.
Anytime.
But astrology is a language of energies, and astrology is the truth. The mantra for the National Council for Geocosmic Research is De Stellis ad Veritatem, which is Latin for from the stars to the truth. And it is. It's all in the stars. And it's not a religion, and it's not, it's a language of energies. And I'm
that makes
attuned to this language. And I'll get into that whole diatribe at some later point in time. But where I was going with this is that when I sit down with clients for the first time, and my clients, just so you understand, they're well-educated, successful professionals that are conservatively trained. They're not actors or creative ones necessarily. I mean, I work with people of all backgrounds, ages, and professions, but predominantly well-educated, successful professionals, attorneys, physicians, critical thinkers, analytical thinkers. These people, and that's why I'm so renowned in my field, because and that's why they're challenged personally. Their critical minds have no place, my darling, in their personal lives. There's no place for ego. That which makes you so successful is usually a fear-based drive to succeed.
True, very true.
It's usually a fear-based fear of failure. It's usually something that is driving that ambition, and that's a good thing. As long as you understand, and my tagline is balancing life with love. Yes, be the star that you are, be the rock litigator that you are, be the Wall Street genius that you are. That's all good, but apply. Sans the ego that's driving you, but apply those principles that drive your professional and material success to your personal life. And imagine the outcome. And rule number one in that regard is leave your ego at the door. I mean, how many times do you have to call a great customer before you get them on your show or before you get their sale? A superstar rainmaker doesn't take no for an answer. He keeps calling. He doesn't have an ego. He wants to close a sale. He knows this person needs him. He knows this person is going to have value in his service or product. So he doesn't take no for an answer. So why do we take no for why do we settle?
Why do we select?
Thank you. Why do we settle? Why do we take no for an answer? Why do we say no to our souls in our personal life when all the while they are yelling at us? I'm not happy. I'm not happy.
Right.
But the crowd is saying, oh, let's go have a beer. Oh, let's go hook up. I don't know what they're saying these days. I really have detached and isolated myself into my work, which good, bad, it is what it is. But I'm whole with that. That's who I am. And it's good for me. But my point is that when I teach my clients about astrology, because generally they're traditionally trained, conventional minds, they might look at me a little funny. Oh, I don't know, I don't believe in it. And I'll say, well, do you believe in God? And they'll say yes, or they'll say no. I'm an atheist. And I'll say, okay, well, do you believe in science? And they'll probably say yes. And I'll say, okay, well then do you believe that there's an energy force within you? And they'll say, yeah, I have energy. I feel there's an energy force within me. Okay, well, what did you learn? I remember in 7th grade science class, and I wasn't that, well, I was. History wasn't my strong suit then, but science I was doing pretty well at. Science class, junior high, high school, energy never dies. It only gets transformed.
Yeah, true.
So, do you believe that? And they'll say yes, and I'll say, okay, well, guess what? Astrology isn't a religion. I don't care if you believe it, because for a fact, in 1492, the consensus of the population on the planet believed the Earth was flat.
Right.
150 years ago, the consensus on the planet believed you couldn't cut open someone's chest, pull out their heart, and replace it with another and yet continue to be alive. And today it is being done every day. So what you believe is irrelevant to what is truth. So why is astrology an occult science? Why is it a metaphysical science? Why is it a hidden truth? And the answer I tell my clients when I ask that rhetorical question in session is I say to them, I say, astrology is a hidden truth because the human psyche is not equipped to handle the truth. In fact, modern psychology has I'm paraphrasing, but has cited 5 stages to a human response to any trauma. Do you know what the first stage to responding to a trauma is?
Like if something
If
traumatic
something traumatic happened
happens,
to you, what would be the first response, first human inclination you would have in response to that?
fear? I'm trying to think of what
There are 5 stages or psychological
5
stages.
stages.
Yep.
Like denial and
There you go, my darling.
uh-huh.
Denial. Denial.
Yeah, that it
The
even happened.
human psyche will deny any pain first, and hopefully if it's got support, if the individual has support and is being treated or has the strength within to heal, to go through the healing process, he'll eventually achieve acceptance after depression and anger and bargaining, etc., etc. But denial, why? Why do we deny? Something traumatic just happened. Because that's the way the human psyche is wired to respond.
Yeah, I think it takes a little while to process and understand what happened.
And sadly, my sweetheart, Timothy, sadly, I can call you Timothy.
Oh, you call me anything.
I like calling you.
That's fine.
You're so sweet. Because I like calling appropriate names. But sadly, most people are so stuck in the denial phase of their reality.
Right.
And it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And these are very successful people. They're attorneys, they're physicians, they're investors, they're business people, they're amazing people. And they can't own their truth. And it's sad because even though they convince themselves or attempt to convince themselves, there is sufficient evidence to cite and prove that they aren't really happy. And each person, in my belief, it is my firm belief that every person born onto this earth is here for one exclusive reason: to be and become exactly who they are and who they are destined to become, without constraints, without inhibitions, without limitations, and to love and be truly loved. And if you're not being truly loved, guess what, darling? It's not love. Move on.
That's true.
And if you're not able to truly love, it's not love. Move on. And yes, you said it brilliantly earlier, and I'm so proud of you for acknowledging that. That is you got the answer. And I guess it was your suffering and your pain and the cycle that you took.
Yeah.
It's all about loving yourself and not just saying, oh, I love myself.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm happy.
Yeah.
I love myself.
I love myself. Mwah.
Yeah,
Mwah.
exactly. That's not it. No, it's honoring yourself. It's knowing who you are. It's constantly, continuously, without failure, never denying your feelings, your thoughts, your ideas, your desires, your will, your tastes. It's always, always being true to you.
Yeah.
And that's loving yourself.
Yeah.
That's honoring yourself. And if you can't love and honor yourself and know yourself, there's no way you'll ever be able to attract it from anyone,
That's right.
from anyone in return.
That makes total sense.
I think this is a good time for us to take a break and thank
That's
our
perfect.
sponsors. We have some very special sponsors that enable us to be here today. And I'd like to take a few minutes and thank our sponsors.
That would be wonderful.
And so tonight we have a special thanks to metgox.com. They are an online exchange services for Bitcoins. They now take euros, British pounds, and Australian dollars, as well as Canadian dollars. Continuing fees of 0.3% now through August 9th. And I'd love to thank usgoldcoins.com. That's 1-800-HOT-COIN, our trusted advisor for investments in rare gold and silver coins. Andy takes the mystery out of buying silver and gold by holding your hand. They take a hands-on approach. Better to call and speak directly for current inventory. Again, that number is 1-800-HOT-COIN. And I'd love to thank Mezzagrill.com, where authentic Mediterranean food meets modern flavor. Now serving breakfast at 8th Avenue and 55th Street in New York City, just a couple of blocks south of Columbus Circle. And I'd love to hear from you. Give me a jingle at my Ask Ayelet voicemail at 212-569-6969. Again, 212-569-6969. You can't forget that number. Or you may email me. You can email me at ayelet@onlyonetv.com. If you ask me a question, I may answer it on an upcoming episode. Again, that's Ayelet, AYELET, @onlyonetv.com. And so, Tim, we were saying right before we took a break to thank our sponsors, we were saying how we must know ourselves and be true to ourselves and truly love ourselves, not just say we do, in order to attract the same in return. So tell me about what's happening in your relationships now, or your dating experience these days, or who are you meeting, or would you rather tell me about your last relationship and we can maybe identify what happened there and what the lessons were for you to have acquired from that experience?
Well, honestly, I can't say that I've ever had yet a truly healthy, loving relationship.
Why do you think that is?
I wasn't in the place yet. I wasn't in the proper place, which is where I'm working on that now. I'm working on myself.
So okay, that's good. Always work on yourself first. But but again, your life is valuable. Time is precious. So if there's an opportunity right now, right here, why put it off because you're still working on yourself?
Oh, I agree.
Just something I want to caution you about.
I had a gentleman that I have been seeing, but he's in Israel.
Okay.
And we've only get to see each other every 6 months or so.
Okay.
But he has really made some efforts to get to New York.
Okay.
To visit me.
Has he visited you?
Yes, twice.
Oh, wonderful.
Which has I mean, that really says something to me.
Yes. Did he come specifically for you, or did he have business here, or were there other
No,
reasons
he has
for his
family here as well.
Okay, good.
But he made a specific point to try to get back to New York.
Okay.
After he had met me, which I nobody's ever done that for me before. I love that.
It feels good to be honored.
Yes, yes.
But
truly.
we must be wholly honored. And sometimes certain people are in your life, but there are inherent limitations in certain relationships.
Right.
And it's what I've learned in my experience is accepting what it is. Oh, I have a theory. A businesswoman. I'm an entrepreneur as well, and a CEO of a company. So, you learn to look at balance sheets, and I think that language talks to a lot of the people out there in our audience. When you're looking at a balance sheet.
Right.
And my theory is very simple. I love everyone. Okay?
Same here.
I love everyone because that's what it's about. I truly, truly do. I care, I love, I want to help, I want to share, and would happily and readily give my love to anyone who deemed an interest and need for it. However, I too am becoming who I am. And I have needs. So, when we look at a relationship, we look at the balance sheet, okay? And we're looking at assets, liabilities, and capital, right?
Right.
I'm accounting 101, right? So, assets, liabilities. So now certain people come into our lives and they're assets. Like, you're an asset to me. I love you.
And
I think you're fabulous,
likewise.
and thank you for joining me today and honoring me with your presence. It means so much to me. So you're an asset to me. Now, there are people in our lives that come in and they're assets. We give and receive, not take, receive. If you're a taker, not good.
Right.
The Kabbalah teaches us to receive with an open hand. We receive with an open hand. If I'm going to hand you a bottle of water, you'll sit like you are just now, and you'll allow me to place it before you, and you'll receive the gift I'm offering you. People who take don't really think about who's the gift. They just want to take that which is being given to them. Now, in business, we need to be aggressive sometimes. We need to take. We need to ask for. And I'm the first one who will say, ask. Don't take, ask. And if you get, great. And if not, it doesn't hurt to... You can't get the sale unless you ask.
Right.
So ask. Okay. But we're looking at assets. So there are people in our lives that are just assets. And maybe that they come into our lives to be a blessing for us, to be an aid to us, to be a source of support or strength or something. And it's for, there's that old thing, I'm sure you've heard it on the internet. We have friends for a reason, a season, or a lifetime.
Right.
Which are you? And they're all there for a reason. And we're all there for a season. We can only hope that they will stay for many seasons. And sometimes they're not.
Right.
And there's a reason for that. Because as is the natural order of the universe, as is inherent in the universal truths that infiltrate our soul, and that is part of our life existence. I mean, it's everything in life is cyclical. Our bodies, our biological processes, the seasons, the way everything has a natural order to it. We can, if we are truly conscious, we can identify when the season's up and it's time to move on. If we are conscious, we can identify if maybe the context of the relationship might change now, and now it's going to become something else. Maybe it's a new season in your life. And this, by the way, can be seen and forecasted through the tool of astrology, just so you know, when we can identify certain stages and phases. For example, the midlife crisis at 42. Otherwise known as the last chance. It's when Uranus, the planet of change, revolution, which is inherent in your soul, because your Jupiter rules the sign of Aquarius at the time of your birth. I took a glimpse before we sat today. So in Uranus, it takes Uranus 84 years to transit the zodiac. So it takes it 84 years to return the exact same place on your natal chart, which is why it would be an ideal age to die. My grandfather died at 83. He was approaching his Uranus return. There you go. Uranus in the sky. So guess what happens at 40 years to 42 years after your birth date? Uranus, okay, from the time of your birth, all the planets in the sky we take a Photoshop of the sky at the exact date, time, and place of your birth. And this is a map of your psyche. And you were born and boom, the world continues to move, right? Life is constantly moving. The only thing constant in life is change. We're constantly changing, constantly moving, constantly growing. And the saddest thing I see for certain individuals is stagnancy.
Right.
And most importantly, your spiritual and emotional stagnancy is not being able to grow. And that's a great challenge, is to find a partner you can grow with and develop with. And my research tells that less than 2% of couples have what I refer to as a true connection, a lasting, truly loving relationship.
Yeah.
And 98% of relationships are doomed to fail. 65% split up. 35 or more percent stay unhappily together for religion, appearances,
the family,
whatever. Superficial institutions instituted by society.
Yep.
Okay? And family is, we're born into a family. A very dear friend of mine, I don't know if he's watching, but his name is Uri. We were 15-year-old teenager kids. I was 15 and he was 16 or 17. We were hanging out. Yes, I used to smoke cigarettes, but it was only socially, and I was never addicted. We were hanging out, smoking and hanging out late night, and we were talking about mysticism, and he shares some of my background, my ethnic background. And he used to say to me that we can't control the family we're born into, but we can determine or decide. And most of us can, but still fail to do so. But we have the power to choose and create the family we truly wish to have. And sometimes it doesn't even have to be biological. Sometimes your family here, Oscar's waking up. This is my little boy. Sometimes your family could be your best friend 3,000 miles away. Sometimes your family can be, that's family.
I agree.
That's family. It's not, ceremony. It's not superficial appearances. It's not in
DNA.
name. And it's not necessarily, I have to say, it's not, family is in DNA, but I have a thing for blood. You have to be true to your blood to the extent that you're able to. To the extent that you're able to. Never, ever at the expense of your soul. Nothing you ever do. I will never profess to do anything at the expense of your soul, even if it's DNA. Are you hearing what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And back to the balance sheet. Oscar, please sit, Mommy. Thank you, Angel. Back to the balance sheet, where we were talking assets, liabilities, and capital, right? So there are certain DNA could be toxic for you.
Right.
And as much as you love that person is liability, liability, liability. Now, there may come a time and place. There may come a time and place where you may afford, because your capital account is kind of plumped up. So you know what? You might be able to afford that liability. You following me?
Yeah.
But if you're at a time in your life when you just can't, because you're just fighting for every ounce of breath you can get, for every ounce of sanity you can muster up, then you just can't. It doesn't mean you don't love that person. It doesn't mean you don't empathize with that person. It doesn't mean you don't have compassion for that person. It just means that you just can't relate to that person one-on-one right now. You can't honor that person, or that person isn't able to honor you because of their toxicity. That's their issue. That's their challenge. I'm sure people around you may have experienced that when you were going through your dark phase of the abuse. Any type of abuse is toxic. Whether it's drugs, whether it's alcohol,
those were the people that I had all around me during that time.
And so they were,
because that's who I attracted, were people, very toxic people.
And they were contaminating you.
Yeah.
And even though your soul was saying, no, this isn't right, this isn't me,
Right,
this isn't me, but it was hard to break it. Oh, my darling, the word is habit.
Yes.
We
You're
start
absolutely
doing
right.
things. I was thinking about this actually in my drive into the city today. Human beings are creatures of habit, and it takes exactly 3 weeks, and it's that simple.
Correct.
That's
to
simple.
change a habit.
3 weeks, and all you do is, and I've been in places before where I've acquired some habits that I wasn't very, happy with, and all it takes is 3 weeks. In fact, I just had to re-up my training strategy and lose a few extra pounds, etc. And I went on a very high protein diet. My bad cholesterol went up 25 points, and guess what I was doing? Egg, and I love eggs. They're inexpensive, they're nutritious, over easy, sunny side up. I know when I was a kid, I never ate sunny side up, but I have acquired a taste for them these days, believe it or not. Just a little fresh crushed red pepper with some extra virgin olive oil, and it's like the best. And I was doing it, and then I got my blood work, 25 points higher LDL, 25 points higher triglycerides. The good stuff stayed exactly the same because for the most part, my good stuff is what it is. But I haven't touched an egg since that day. It's almost 2 months now.
Wow.
Now, you could have called that an addiction. I mean, there were like days where I would have 3, and it would be like 3 eggs at a gig, 5 eggs at a gig, 5 hard-boiled eggs, boom, boom, boom. That was my meal of the day. So any habit can be changed.
I agree.
Just stop. Throw it up, say no more.
Well,
I love me.
it takes a conscious effort. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
No, it's a conscious choice.
Yes, correct.
Not effort. Choice, my darling.
That's
Just say
true.
no. Say no to the first joint. Say no to the first cigarette. Say no. Bad relationship, bad situation. Okay, you're privy to my one-on-one because you're honoring me today. The 3 rules I teach my clients in my first session are the following. Rule number 1. My principles, my Always Ayelet principles to life, love, and relationships. Everything is indicative of everything. Anything and everything you want to learn about a person, you will learn within the first 5 minutes of knowing him. Everything is indicative of everything. The question is, are you aware? Are you conscious? It's not going to change. It is what it is. It will get back. It won't. It is what it is. The symptom is there. And I'm not talking to analyze people and misdiagnose them with. Do you realize that 40% of the children are being diagnosed with bipolar disorder? Just as a side note, everybody's like misdiagnosing everybody. I'm really nauseous with that. But my thing is, rule number 1: everything is indicative of everything. It's there day one, and maybe you weren't aware of it, but I'll bet you any relationship that you want to talk about with me, go back to your first date. Whatever broke you up 5 years later, 3 years later, 6 months later, 3 months later, 3 weeks later, 3 days later, was there in the first 5 minutes you interacted with this person. Think about it. Rule number 2. And my friend Andy Goss, the numismatist, will love this one. There's 2 sides to every coin. And I coined this before I knew him. So I've been saying this for a lot longer than I've known Andy. But there's 2 sides to every coin. Every energy in the universe, my darling, has a positive and negative manifestation. You can't accept the one without the other. And we must be conscious of the good and the bad within ourselves and within each other. And not work, but strive to choose to manifest the best of our individual human potential.
I agree.
And if you say you love someone and you recognize he has a shortcoming in your view and your checklist in your mind or whatever it is, which I believe you should eradicate, because that's not how you're going to find your true love. Your true love, my darling Timothy, is going to love and honor you and be anything and everything you need, exactly where and when you need it.
Wow. Yeah.
Without asking. And it will blow your mind. He's not going to look like anything you've ever imagined. He may not have any of the credentials or any of the superficial exteriors you could ever contemplate or fathom in your ideal mind or dreams. But if you learn to love yourself when he appears and reveals himself to you, you will receive him and not reject him. And then he will be, in my view, because I only know you, I don't know him
Yes.
yet. Or maybe I do and I don't know yet. We'll
Yeah,
get into
that could be.
matchmaking you later. But if and when you reveal who he is, he will be more blessed for having you as you are for having him.
Exactly, I agree.
And but you need to recognize the two, because even he is not going to be perfect.
Oh, right,
But he's going to be perfect for you.
Exactly, perfect fit.
And when you identify certain of his traits that you love about him, recognize, my darling, that there's the other side of that coin.
Oh, of course,
Where I come into the scene is, you can always come in for a couples coaching session, is where I bring those issues to light. Once they're in the light, and I'm sure you learn this in rehab recovery, once you admit, once you bring an issue to consciousness, it can't plague you. You're cured.
Right.
That's it. He's this ambitious, hardworking Wall Street guy. He works 90 hours a week. You know what? You love his cars, you love his this, but guess what? He's going to be working 90 hours a week. So he's not going to be home at 6 o'clock for dinner if that's what you're into. But you're more into the power, the prestige, and all that. That's okay. I'm giving a theoretical.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So recognize that the other side of the coin is that he's not going to be available.
I agree.
Physically, because he's working 90 hours a week.
That makes sense.
And accept that about him. Don't go off and have an affair with the pool boy.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Are you following what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Accept yourself for two sides of the coin.
Sure. And
acknowledge it in your other and accept him for what it is. And the third, and you're going to love this, because you kind of touched upon it, because that also is an indication to me as a professional of your level of evolution, and I'm commending you.
Thank you.
Without sounding arrogant, but commending you. Rule number 3, my darling, is we attract what we are.
Yeah.
At the exact date, time, and place that you need to meet whomever it is you are destined to meet, you will.
Right.
And they're here to teach you something about yourself. Not potentially confine you for a life of misery. If this person is making you miserable, isn't fulfilling you, you're not attracted to them, potentially, they're not making you happy. You okay, Botalicious? You're just changing sides there, huh? If you are conscious that we attract what we are, and you're at that stage in evolution of where you are, that means you're ready for. You will. You know what I mean?
When I'm ready.
And again, it's a two-way street. And if you have still some work to do, then you're going to meet the right person who's going to help you do that work for you.
Yep, exactly.
He's going to enhance you.
Exactly.
And it's doable right now. You don't have to wait. You know, people are always waiting for practical concerns and the right. There is no time. This is it. This is not a dress rehearsal on live TV. You know, this is not a dress rehearsal. This is it. This is your one chance at living and being whole with your soul. And that is the purpose of why we are here. So again, everything is indicative of everything. There are two sides to every coin. And we attract what we are. So if you don't know why this deadbeat is on your doorstep, look within.
Right.
Learn the lesson within and say no. I deserve more.
I agree.
I deserve better. End it. Close the door. Grieve, cry, be alone, and it's okay. Loneliness is not being alone. One can be more lonely in love, in a relationship.
I agree.
Than they are alone. I'm not, and someone taught me this many, many years ago, a very dear friend, very early in my life, said to me, when I was going through an experience, if you will, a lesson, a life lesson. He said, Ayelet, his name was Gus Rocco. He said, Ayelet, it is better to be alone and lonely than lonely with someone. And that loneliness with someone only manifests in unfaithfulness to yourself, unfaithfulness to your other, to everyone. You're hurting everyone. And the greatest gift we can give ourselves and all parties involved is our truth. Dr. Seuss said it best. He said, be who you are and say what you think, because those who mind don't matter, And those who matter don't mind. Exactly. Exactly. And so, my God, I can't believe how much fun
Oh, I know. This is great. I mean,
really,
we got
Timothy,
like to the bottom of some really deep issues here.
Yeah,
This is amazing.
So.
I love that.
The crux of it, I guess, and in case any part of the audience has missed any part of it, is truth.
Yeah, definitely.
It's the truth. The truth, where only in truth there is freedom. Mm-hmm. Only in truth there is freedom. And that truth is etched in your soul before you came to earth. It's going to be with you when you go. And think about that. Mm-hmm. You can't take anything with you. What you take with you is your soul. Mm-hmm. And make every day count. Live it to your fullest.
I agree.
And I'm here to help in any way I can. Just to tell the audience again that I really would love to hear from you or see you in person. I am available for private consultations one-on-one anywhere in the world. I'm also available for limited speaking engagements around the world. You may reach me at my Ask Ayelet voicemail, which is 212-569-6969. Again, that number is 212-569-6969. Or email me at ayelet@onlyoneTV.com. That's Ayelet, AYELET, at onlyoneTV.com. I'd love to hear from you. If you ask any questions in email or voicemail, I may answer them live in an upcoming episode and perhaps even have you on as a guest. I would, again, love to hear from you. I wish you lots of love. Always, I am Ayelet. Always Ayelet. And Timothy, I really want to thank you so much for honoring me today with your presence. And I hope you will continue on your journey to holism.
Most definitely.
And developing a true connection, a lasting, truly loving relationship. And the greatest word I can teach you is no. Just say no. If it's not right at the beginning, indicative, just say no. Right. And your heart knows it.
Yep.
And avail yourself to the one who's there waiting for you, who will love you for who you are, accept you as you are. You don't have to change a thing. Just be. And be the best that you can.
I agree. Ayelet, thank you so much. Thank you for the truth.
You're welcome. It's my absolute pleasure. And thank you, audience, and look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you. In my business, it isn't dating, it isn't just matching people.
Right.
I discovered in years of experience and research doing this for so many years and having lived this that there's something wrong. And my ideas, my philosophy, my unique approach transcends modern dating issues, transcends what is pervading our society today. And I'm here to shed light on the truth and shatter the myths and the shackles that imprison us and confine us to perpetually seeking instead of perpetually living a life of holism and what I refer to as a love-centered life. And that's what I'm here to help or to give.
Ayelet, that is wonderful.
Thank you.
That is fabulous.
Thank you.
That you have discovered this and you're sharing it with the world. I think that's fabulous.
Well,
that's
it's
great.
a lot of years of...
I can understand.
The knowledge or the insights are, I guess I can say they're sort of inherent, but the formulating of the paradigms that I've created and developed over years and years of experience are tried and true, and they're proven effective, and they're the only proven approach to developing true connections. And I'm honored and excited to be here with you.
Yes.
Hopefully we can make some progress for you tonight.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
With understanding your...
Today's episode of Always Ayelet is brought to you by Mt. Gox, mtgox.com, and usgoldcoins.com, 1-800-HOT-COIN, and Meze Grill, M-E-Z-E Grill.com. Always Ayelet is the foremost internationally acclaimed authority on developing true connections. Ayelet is the founder and CEO of Universal Connections, Inc., the world's premier relationship firm that is revolutionizing life through holism and truth. A highly sought life and relationship coach, professional matchmaker, astrologer, philosopher, and author, Ayelet is always Ayelet.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the premiere episode of Always Ayelet. I'd love to hear from you, and you can give me a jingle at my Ask Ayelet voicemail, 212-569-6969. Again, 212-569-6969. Or you can email me at ayelet@onlyonetv.com. That is Ayelet, A-Y-E-L-E-T, at onlyonetv.com. If you ask a question, I may answer it on an upcoming episode. And honoring me today with his presence is a very dear friend, Tym Moss. Thank you for your life a little bit, your background, your issues, because what I've learned doing this, we're each on a journey, and my journey has been a journey of lessons, which has enabled me to teach others, to guide others, and to encourage others, to help them find the strength they need and the courage they need to confront their truths and live a life of holism and living a love-centered life. We live, we're born into a material world of illusion.
Oh, definitely.
And oftentimes we lose sight of the real essence of our being, the reason we are here, the reason why we are who we are, and becoming who we are becoming. People think, oh, we just, when you're kids, we're always say, oh, when I grow up, I'm going to be a fireman.
Yeah.
That's not the way it is. And we're misled from such a young age. Oh, what do you want to be when you grow up? Well, I want to be Ayelet. I mean, if someone had told me that, it would have made my life, but I was always Ayelet. And so I had a natural inclination to being the individual that I am. And I guess I'm trying to help reinforce others with that innate strength I have, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, one thing, I was talking to someone the other day, kind of along a similar line, about how we were talking about, like, in the gay community, the suicides of the younger, the teenagers. And
thank you so much for joining me on my very first episode of Always Ayelet. It's a great honor to have you on my show.
Oh, Ayala, I am so excited for you.
Thank you.
Congratulations, and the honor is mine, being
you.
your first guest on your show.
Thank you. Oh, and I mustn't forget, audience, that this is Oscar. He's my co-host. He'll be joining us as well at his choice and will, his free will.
Oh, Oscar's wonderful.
So we're here today to talk about life, love, and relationships, and you've honored me with the opportunity to learn more about your life. We've talked a little bit off set, and now we're on set live, and you...
Well, I am single and have been for much of my life.
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly. Why don't we take a minute and kind of talk about your show and what people can expect to see or experience with your show?
Well, what I do professionally, what I've done after years of extensive research and hands-on experience, working with people in life, love, and relationship as a professional matchmaker, astrologer, and life and relationship coach, I've formulated the proven method to developing true connections.
Wow.
And I'm here to, I guess, share it with the audience and with you. I offer one-on-one private consultations for my clientele. I've been renowned for matchmaking, very successful at that. But my service isn't...
Someone had mentioned that basically if they would have just trusted their own personal inner instincts, they would not have chosen to do that. Because so many people have a tendency to listen to the outside world and the outside world's fears. What people and their fears throw at them, you have a choice of whether you're going to absorb that fear or whether you're just going to accept it.
I love that example, and it breaks my heart when I hear that. I know there was a recent episode, a very newsworthy episode of a Rutgers student, a young Rutgers student, who was actually known by family and friends of mine, married to people, and it's heartbreaking. But aside from just that inner struggle of, I have if I may,
sure.
the inner struggle of struggling with being, gay or homosexual, and being subjected to the imposition of other people's fears.
Right.
How about the classic example of, in today's recession, I really perceive our current economic crisis as a depression. I mean, I really believe this is a financial depression we're in at this time. But aside from that, how about the classic case where, the Wall Street stockbroker just lost his, $500 million 401k and whatever and has no identification with anything else on this earth, that it's time to blow my brains out or jump off the 18th floor of a building.
Yeah.
So
Similar,
anytime